Gemini, welcome to your reading. So I'm going to start here with your current energy and find out what is happening in your world. There was a card that flipped. No, I guess not. Okay. Then it was just standing out. So let's get your past. And tell me about your strength. Your near future. What else do you need to know? Your hopes or fears. And your potential outcome. So I'm looking at the bottom of the deck here, the Nine of Wands, and I'm not surprised by this at all. So there is a lot of energy happening right now in the universe, and things are shifting pretty quickly and pretty significantly. And it looks like from your perspective, this is completely unexpected. This is something where you really just didn't see it coming. But it's not even that. It's not even just that. I don't have the Tower card down here, but it feels like this sudden shift. And it's almost like your eyes are opening up to something here. What this feels like is like, oh, you know, it's almost like there's a shadow in the corner. You knew there was a shadow, but you never really paid attention to the shadow. And now all of a sudden you can see the shadow and you can see it for what it is. And you're really kind of trying to figure out, is that necessary? Does that need to be here? Is this a part of my life? Do I want to take this into my next chapter? Because right now, I don't think you do. I think this is really why you're up in your head with this Eight of Swords energy. And it's being kind of influenced by this Queen of Cups. And this is about you trying to figure out what is right for you, what matters to you, what can you let go of. This is really understanding your self-love. The universe wants you to focus on really balancing your day-to-day here. That Two of Pentacles, this is the shadow. The shadow in the corner is something that maybe it's not a shadow in like the literal sense, but it's something that you do every single day that you just don't need to do anymore. It's just not something that's necessary in order for you to move forward. It's more along the lines of, immediately what I'm getting is a conversation I had with one of my friends yesterday where you can create this skill set, and it's a survival skill set. And so you've built up all of these skills to be able to survive whatever comes towards you. But in order for you to thrive, you have to let go of one of these survival skills because you don't need them. They served a purpose. That purpose ended. You don't need to hold on to that anymore. It'll always be there. It just doesn't need to be front and center anymore. You need to start focusing in a different direction. Like, okay, I've survived what I need to survive, but how do I thrive? That's what this feels like. And that's what that shadow is kind of reminding me of. It's like this thing that you've been carrying with you that just doesn't serve you anymore. And that even means a skill set as well. And so when I look at your past position, this makes a lot of sense to me. So the Ace of Cups with the Five of Pentacles, somebody here left you out in the cold. And so this doesn't feel like it's a one in a life incident. This feels like it's a repeated incident. So you have developed these coping mechanisms or these ways of kind of processing and accepting whatever happened in the past, but it's not, and I'm trying to find the right words to say it, because it's not, there wasn't something lacking in you as much as these people just weren't the right people for you. And that's why these things ended. Your strength here is in just having that faith, being optimistic, allowing yourself to move forward, seeing the bigger picture here. That's what's coming to light for you. This is the light shining on that shadow, is understanding what it is, what's happening here. How do you kind of go from here? What are your next steps? I do see you making some sort of final decision here with this Judgment card in the near future. This feels a lot like you're figuring out what no longer serves you. You're figuring out what that shadow contains and how do you either modify it so it is, because it is necessary going forward, or release it because it's just not necessary at all. That's exactly what you're doing here. We do have the Seven of Wands. So the Seven of Wands is part of that shadow energy. It's highlighting here where you've constantly had to stand up for yourself, be on the defense with everything. Instead of just living your life, you've constantly been up against this kind of barrier, and it's about time that you broke through. And on the other side of that barrier, on the other side of this releasing this type of behavior is the Sun. There is a lot of positivity. There's a lot of optimism on the other side of this. I can see from your hopes or fears position, we have the High Priestess here. And so this is about trusting yourself, trusting your instincts, but this is that shadow. This is that shadow. The High Priestess is really good at keeping secrets. It's really good at hiding things. That's what this is. And then the Moon. And so the Moon showing up in your potential outcome. We do have the full moon in Leo happening in a few days. And it really does kind of call to you to be creative. I always think of Leo energy as being very true to himself or herself. And that's how I'm seeing this full moon energy. It's like you've done all this work. You're figuring out what no longer works for you. And in order to be your authentic self, you have to let go of something. And that let go of something is now coming to light. You're really starting to understand what it is that needs to change here. So let's get some additional details. With the Ace of Swords, the Queen of Cups, we have the Ace of Pentacles. So what is the difference in your relationships in the past versus the type of relationship that you're looking for? Because what it looks like in the past here is that you would offer your cup to a person, but maybe you aren't getting that cup in return. Did it have some sort of commitment attached to it? Were you actually putting yourself out there in a way that had you being open and available and vulnerable to other people? That Ace of Pentacles, in order to create some sort of long-term connection with another person, does require you to really be open to that possibility. Tell me about the Two of Pentacles. We have the Six of Cups. So children might be involved here. That would be a very small subset of people, but it's really about, okay, if you think all the way back to your childhood, what mattered to you the most, and really kind of getting in touch with that side of you too. This is actually coming up a lot in the readings. It's almost like the structures that you have built around you, everything that you've kind of put into place needs to be adjusted, because there's almost this jaded edge to it that just doesn't work if you want to achieve your dreams and if you want to be happy long term. And so kind of getting back in touch with that innocence, that childlike side to you, and figuring out, okay, this works, this doesn't work, let's move on. With the Ace of Cups and the Five of Pentacles, I'm getting the Ace of Wands. Yeah. So in the past, there wasn't, I'm not seeing the commitment in the past. I'm seeing that you want the commitment in the future, but in the past, there really wasn't this energy of let's develop something with some sort of commitment attached to it. I see passion, I see sex, but I don't see commitment. With Temperance, I am getting the Seven of Swords. There is definitely a trust happening here that whatever is going to play out is going to play out. That Seven of Swords indicates that you're just going to make sure that you're taking care of yourself. You're not going to really worry about anybody else right now. You're going to just trust that the path that you're forging for yourself is going to work out the way that you want it to. With Judgment, I'm getting the Ten of Pentacles. Yeah, this is what you're doing. You're making some sort of decision when it comes to a long-term relationship, and it's really about what are those initial steps? How does it look? How do you have that conversation? What does that conversation look like? What are your ultimate goals when it comes to a long-term relationship? With the Seven of Wands, I'm getting the Nine of Wands. When you were in this energy of always standing up for yourself, that meant you weren't open and available because you were always on guard. You always had your guard up here with that Nine of Wands, the wounded warrior. You would keep people at arm's length because it was almost like you kept waiting for that other shoe to drop. With the Sun, I'm getting the Page of Swords. So this is that new chapter. This is that new beginning. Conversations around, okay, this is what works for me. This is what doesn't work for me. And then letting go of all that energy that doesn't work for you. All those skills that just don't apply. With the High Priestess, I'm getting the Page of Pentacles. You're exploring the secrets. You're exploring that shadow. You're actually doing the work on yourself. You're trying to understand exactly what you need. That's exactly what you're doing here. And it's almost like once you see it, you can't unsee it. And so you want to keep moving forward so that you can release whatever doesn't work. With the moon, I am getting the Seven of Cups and I'm getting the Nine of Pentacles. And so when it comes to this moon energy, because the moon is, I mean, it's the full moon, I'm definitely picking that up. The moon is also secretive. It is about not seeing things clearly because it's nighttime, it's dark. You can't see everything clearly. You can when the sun is shining, but you can't in the shadows. And so here what's happening is there might be multiple things that you need to get rid of. There might be this lack of clarity on around what it is that needs to go. But at the same time, you're really kind of looking at things from your abundance standpoint. So you've done a lot of work on yourself. That's what this indicates to me. You're creating your own abundance. And with this Seven of Cups here, it's almost like you're not really sure what the path is going to unfold, but you know that you need to prioritize yourself and what is necessary for you in order to keep expanding and keep growing and keep that abundance going in your life. And so let me get 3 cards on how to navigate this full moon energy for you, because I'm not getting a clear answer on why you still feel like you have that lack of clarity. And it came out again. Let me see. Let me get the Two of Swords. Okay. So the cards that came out for you, we have the Four of Swords. So this is about releasing the past, healing from whatever wasn't working for you. We have the Queen of Swords. That's clearly the clarity around it, what you need to release when it comes to that prior heartbreak. But then the Two of Swords showed up. And so what was really interesting to me is that you have all swords energy. So there's a lot of thought behind it, but not a lot of action. This crossroads indicates we have this Four of Cups coming out. So it is about letting go of prior heartache, but you might be really confused by the fact that somebody's coming towards you in the meantime. Or you could be confused or maybe unsure that you're actually going to get what you want here, because there is this unexpected offer, whether it's coming into you before the full moon or shortly after the full moon. You do have this almost, it's a fear that you're not going to get what you're looking for, that you're not going to get that unexpected offer. You're not going to be able to move forward in that way. But that's a fear. That's definitely coming across as a fear. And it has a lot to do with the sudden changes that you're going through. So Gemini, this is your reading. I hope it resonates. If it did, please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Take care.